Dallas Cowboys fans, this is what you've been looking for. A show discussing the team you love without all the fluff and BS. Host Greg Rector, along with Cowboys writers and content creators from across the country, break it down. This isn't the same old, same old. This is the blue and silver breakdown. How about them Cowboys?
Good evening, everybody. This is Greg Cowboys, and this is the Blue and Silver Breakdown. Tonight, we're going to go over what happened in Game 1 there against the Eagles. Hate to tell everybody this, but the defense did put pressure on Jalen Hurts at 42.4% in Week 1. As I said last week, they needed a spy on Jalen Hurts. How Matt Eberflus did not put a spy on that guy is beyond me. But hey, he's the coach. I would have used a little bit more 5 guys in the secondary and let Donovan Wilson come up and meet Jalen Hurts. He loves using 3 linebackers though, and Kenneth Murray, he did not look very good going after Jalen Hurts. So again, we'll see what happens. The other key factor here for me was the fact that Dak Prescott went to CeeDee Lamb 13 times. He only got 7 catches, 110 yards. Those drops, the last couple of them were very tough catches to make. But again, you have George Pickens. You need to use George Pickens more often. And Coach Schottenheimer agreed with that in his press conference. So again, Dak has to understand that he's got 2 excellent receivers. He needs to use his pre-snap reads to find George Pickens just as often as he is CeeDee Lamb. That's how you're going to make it life difficult for all other defenses to cover both of those guys, is by using them at an equal amount. CeeDee, yeah, he should get 1 or 2 more catches a game, but he shouldn't be targeted that many times when George Pickens only had three catches for 30 yards. That needs to change. Again, it was a pretty decent game for the Cowboys. And yes, I saw all the complaining online regarding the very, very valid point, Eric. This limiting LB could be to triangulate towards Hurts rather than jog, wave, and watch. Very true. But again, I would have used the 5 secondary guys and used Donovan Wilson as a spy on Jalen Hurts. But again, Mr. Eberflus loves using the 3 linebackers. So again, we'll see what happens there. The whole rain delay thing, because of the lightning, a lot of people were upset. Well, that lightning strike was coming down fairly close to the stadium up in Philadelphia. So again, player safety and the safety of the fans comes into play. Both teams absolutely sucked offensively after the break, of course, which is what I figured would happen. Again, I think Week 1 did see the Dallas Cowboys offensive line play very well, despite Jalen Carter being kicked out of the game for spitting on Dak 6 seconds into the game. And he got fined today. I knew he wouldn't get suspended, folks. There was no way that you were going to suspend him because he already missed the entire game against the Dallas Cowboys. There you are. So he got fined. I don't think he's going to be very welcome come the trip to Dallas, however. But again, we'll see what happens there. And again, the Philadelphia Eagles secondary is very vulnerable. That's why I wanted to see George Pickens be used more often than CeeDee Lamb, because George Pickens can go that deep, long ball. Adoree Jackson, Quinyon Mitchell, it wouldn't have mattered. You have to take out those secondary guys with the long ball. And again, it was a decent night for Dak Prescott, of course, but again, 188 yards doesn't quite cut it as far as I'm concerned. To spread the targeted wealth, absolutely. Give opponents 3 or 4 or 5 receiver sets to ponder and chase. Yeah, exactly. Javonte Williams played very well. Miles Sanders, of course, had the nice big play, but then he had the fumble. That's going to happen in week 1, as we saw with Derrick Henry in Baltimore, who had a great game until he had that fumble, and you know what happened at the end of that one. Again, the addition of Kenny Clark did make a big difference. Marshawn Nealon did get the 1 sack. But again, because you didn't put a spy on Jalen Hurts, he ran wild against you. That was the biggest issue because, Kaiir Elam played nicely in the secondary, except when he gave up that post route to Devontae Smith. But again, hey, that's week 1, folks. I mean, these things are going to happen. The Cowboys played very, very well defensively. Their offensive line did nicely. I'll leave my comments about Terrence Steele alone. He was the one weak spot on the offensive line yet again. So I don't know if they're going to start if they're going to bring up the other right tackle, have him dressed, because Terrence Steele just doesn't seem to have the ability to handle much of anything these days. It really does suck. Yeah, again, if he's only going to be out there as a decoy, that's not a good thing for George Pickens. George Pickens needs to be involved in the offense, and 3 catches for 30 yards was not keeping that man involved. He's got to have 7 to 9 targets a game where he is going to be used at minimum. And those 3 catches, that wasn't enough. Again, the Cowboys needed to use Terrence is reasonable on run blocking and horrible on pass blocking. Oh yeah. That's what we've always known about Terrence Steele. He was always a good, decent run blocker, but his pass blocking has always been pathetic. Why he ever got that deal, I have no idea why the Cowboys gave him that deal coming off the ACL injury. Well, again, they did the same thing with Michael Gallup as well. It was just it was a horrible decision as far as I'm concerned. It'll be interesting to see what the Cowboys do in terms of the offensive line going forward. Tyler Guyton played a very nice game. Tyler Booker had the 5th best day of guards for a rookie. That's a very, very good day. I know he didn't get a shot at Mr. Carter like he wanted to, but don't worry, Jalen Carter comes to Dallas soon enough. Again, the lack of Jaden Blue in the lineup, I think Jaden Blue does dress against the Giants. I think he does play because, again, Dak needs that other weapon outside of the backfield on passing plays. That's where you could expect Jaden Blue to make his contribution from, which again means that you have more targets for Dak to go after. What defense is going to try to stop which guy? Which guy are you going to try to double up? Because Jaden Blue, if he gets that football, that young man can fly. So again, it'll be an interesting case study. Um, Unfortunately, the passes to the tight ends, the almost got Jake Ferguson killed, and Brevin Spanford and Luke Schoonmaker both. You guys have to use your hands to catch the football. You need to be able to catch the ball on that seam route, and because Dak loves throwing that seam route. You guys have to be ready for it, and you have to use your hands and get that ball. That was a disappointing part of the game for me as well. Um, Again, the 5 receiver sets forcing man to man on all Cowboys' best targets. That's what you're going to have to do sometimes. Can you do it all the time? No, but you need to do a 5 receiver set, and Jaden Blue would definitely be a big part of that. Kavontae Turpin as well. That needs to be another guy who gets targets every game as well. It's week 1, so yeah, okay, and you had that long delay. I understand all that part, but again, as I said last week, there was no way those Eagles were winning that game by a big score like the bookie said. It was 8.5, and everybody else that I was talking to in the DM rooms was saying 10 plus for the Eagles. I'm sorry, kids. Not with that roster. No, no, no. Saquon Barkley was shut down in that entire second half. He had 11 yards. So again, the Cowboys defense did their job. But Matt Eberflus needed a spy on Jalen Hurts, and he did not have one. That was a huge mistake. Headed Ferguson's way is now followed by a breath-holding contest to see if he can survive better and more often than the 49ers' George Kittle, who is now out with an injury as well. Again, this is one issue I've always had with Dak Prescott is he likes to throw these tight window passes, especially to the tight ends. I want to see him use more anticipation when he's going to the tight end. That he needs to be more using anticipation instead of delivering the balls that he does. Because again, you're risking the health of the tight end. And that's dangerous. We saw what Ferguson went through last year. He needs to be used better than what he was on Thursday night. So let's go to the New York Giants here, who come to AT&T 1 p.m. Eastern time, so noon in Dallas. The New York Giants offensive line is a complete mess. And Andrew Thomas being out doesn't make a hill of beans as far as I'm concerned, because Andrew Thomas is a decent player, but he's not been a very great tight end, offensive lineman. And then Russell was 17 of 37. He's got his own issues to deal with. Apparently, Coach Daboll went to the bosses yesterday to see if he can get Jaxon Dart start, but that's not going to happen. Russell is going to start. So, okay, there you go. Now, if the Cowboys can go after the offensive line for the Giants the way that they did with the Eagles, it's going to be a hard day for Russell Wilson. It's not going to be a fun time, which of course does my heart good because I've never been a Russell Wilson fan. So, hey, and if Jaxon Dart does go out there, young fella, you don't think that these Cowboys aren't waiting for you? Oh, yeah, they are. They're waiting on you. There is no doubt in my mind. Again, you know, with his 17 of 37 performance here, he only managed 168 yards. So again, everything was a short ball, etc., except to Malik Nabors, who had 5 catches for 71 yards, so a 14.2 yard average. But again, Mr. Nabors isn't a very happy camper in New York either. And I said this when he was drafted last year. The 2 receivers from LSU, Brian Thomas Jr. understands how to handle being man pressed. Malik Nabors does not enjoy that at all. He does not like being pressed by a man. It slows him down, etc. He does not like it. And I said last year that I'm sorry, but Brian Thomas Jr. was going to have a better NFL career than Malik Nabors would. You have to remember that college football is played differently than the NFL. Brian Thomas Jr. plays a solid wide receiver game. Malik Nabors, yeah, you're a speedy guy, but you don't like getting touched. And when you put that man on him right off the hop, he's not as effective as Brian Thomas Jr. And that's the bottom line of all that. Again, for the Cowboys, I do feel that Jaden Blue should be dressed. I understand today that Jerry was on the old radio yet again, and he also said the DT room is going to remain the same this week. So Mozzie Smith sits again. It's a terrible thing. I've said this before about Mozzie Smith. I don't like the way the Cowboys have treated him. He was never the right type of player to come to the Cowboys in the first place. If you watched him at Michigan, he never got off the ball quickly because their coach didn't allow that. And he's had this huge issue of getting off the ball when it's been snapped. Well, trade the guy. Get him to a team that can use him. Get him out of there. Jay Toya was okay in his first game. Yeah, he got pushed around a little bit. But again, if Mozzie Smith is going to be sitting on the bench, not even dressed, you better get something back for him. Get a 7th round pick if that's all you're going to get, and understand who you actually draft. That was a horrible draft as far as I was concerned. Mozzie Smith and Luke Schoonmaker in rounds 1 and 2. It was terrible. Again, when you watched the Pittsburgh Steelers yesterday, did you see Keanu Benton? How he played defensive tackle? That's the guy who you should have drafted there, GM Jerry. It was absolutely terrible to go after Mozzie Smith. It really was. Yeah, he may have to be cut. And again, like the San Francisco Giants had to do with their 3rd round pick, Jake Moody, they cut him today. You have to cut a 1st round pick. That really hurts. That really hurts. And again, with Mozzie, I don't understand how the scouts allowed Mike McCarthy to take those 2 players. I really don't. You have to stand up and deliver for your coaching staff. And on that case, I don't think that the scouts did. When he was first interviewed by becoming a Dallas Cowboy and said, all I like to do is hit people. Do you not like the game of football? You have to love the game of football. But he just wanted to go out and hit people. What kind of nonsense is that? That's utter BS. It's absolute garbage. So again, the running game for the Giants was pathetic against the Commanders. Russell Wilson had 8 rushes for 44 yards. Tyrone Tracy had 10 carries for 24 yards, so that's a 2.4 average. That isn't going to get it done in the NFL, is it? It really isn't. It's going to be a very, very scary thought. Even the rookie Cam Scatabo only had 2 rushes for 3 yards, or minus 3 yards. Sorry. So, if you can't run the football, you're in trouble. You're in huge trouble, as the Cowboys fans should realize after last year with what we went through with the running game that we had. It destroys every type of opportunity for the rest of the game, right? Yeah, if there is a D-line coach that can reach Mozzie Smith, it's the guy with the LA Chargers who coached him at Michigan. That's who can reach him. He seems to be the only guy that can reach Mozzie. So again, if Mozzie Smith does happen to get traded to the Chargers, well, that's fine by me. I do look forward to again seeing Jaden Blue being in this roster, because again, as we mentioned, both Eric and myself have mentioned here, you need to have 4 and 5 receiver sets. Yes, you've got the motion and all that other jazz, but the more targets you send out at these secondaries, who are they going to double team? Who can they double team? That's the reason why Jaden Blue needs to be on that roster on Sunday. It's going to be a typical Giants and Cowboys game. I don't see Dallas struggling the way that they did at times against Philadelphia. I don't see them running the football up the middle, however, because of course you've got Mr. Lawrence and a couple of other very big boys, DTs that were out there. But again, they do have Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeau who like to come after the passer. Oh, what have I always said about those guys? That's who you run against. That's who you run against, because they're always coming for the quarterback. Do you remember that guy, number 11, that we used to have, who did the same thing? And oh, yeah, off they go, running against him. Well, that's where we're going to be able to run the football on Sunday, is going to be against the guys like Kayvon Thibodeau and Brian Burns. It's going to be an interesting game. And the Cowboys have won 77 and lost 47 times in the 126 games versus the Giants, right? I expect this to be number 78. I expect number 78 to happen. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say the Cowboys win this game. I'll go 30-10. I'll say 30-10. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Again, Schottenheimer used motion, which was so key. Oh, I mean, that was so key. As long as you put those receivers out into motion like they did in week 1, that will open up so many other things for both Lamb and Pickens, for Kayvon Thibodeau, for Jalen Tolbert, and Jaden Blue, I hope. So again, it'll be an interesting battle. I'm looking forward to the game on Sunday. Like I said, I'm going to say it's going to be 30-10 for the Cowboys. It's going to be a good time at AT&T Stadium. Let's put it that way. And again, folks, this show is also sponsored by NFL.com. It's part of the link. If you do buy something, I get a little something out of that. So, again, thank you very much for doing that. And again, please do like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Team MBS Media. Again, that's how us small guys survive. So please do that as well. And again, this has been the Blue and Silver Breakdown. I hope everybody has a good week. And next Tuesday, we'll see you at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, 8 Central, 7 Mountain, and 6 Pacific Time. Oh, and just for Brock, 3 o'clock in Hawaii. And yes, it represents a TF opportunity for all 3 phases. Yeah, exactly right. Okay, folks, this has been the Blue and Silver Breakdown. Again, I'm going to say it. It's going to be 30-10 for the Dallas Cowboys. And I hope everybody has a great week, and we'll see you next Tuesday night. Take care.